All right, welcome back. This is our fifth explainer in our big 8-part series on AI layoffs, and it's all based on some fascinating research from Virtualization Options LLC. You can't open a news app without seeing another headline about AI taking jobs, right? But how much of that is real and how much is just, well, noise? Today, we're going to cut through all that and find the real signal.
And it's a totally fair question to ask, isn't it? I mean, one minute you hear that robots are coming for your job, and the next you hear it's all just hype. It gives you whiplash. It can feel just about impossible to know what's actually true. So let's get right to it and ask that critical question. How do you really spot the truth when a company says AI is the reason for layoffs?
So, how do we actually do that? Well, it all comes down to something we're calling the verifiability test. And honestly, you can just think of it as your personal toolkit. It's designed to help you slice right through the corporate PR speak and figure out if AI is the real culprit or just a super convenient excuse.
Okay, so this is really the heart of it. It all boils down to one simple, powerful question. Can the company show you the machine that's doing the work? I mean, literally. When it's genuine displacement, the answer is a clear yes. The AI systems are actually deployed and running. The roles they're cutting are a direct match for what that AI does. They can prove it. But with AI washing, well, that's the whole opposite story. It's a PR move, right? The tech is fuzzy, maybe it's not even fully built, and if you dig just a little bit, you'll almost always find the real reasons staring you in the face, like financial pressure or just plain old overhiring.
Okay, so let's talk about what the real deal looks like. What does genuine AI displacement actually look like out in the wild? Well, when it's real, it leaves behind some really clear, verifiable signals. It's not some big mystery. It's a documented operational change. Let's dive into a few examples.
First up, let's look at Klarna. This is an absolutely textbook case of genuine displacement. See, they didn't just put out a press release with some vague mention of AI efficiency. No way. They got specific. They said, our AI chatbot is now doing the work of 700 human agents. And then, and this is the key part, they backed it up with data, showing that customer satisfaction scores were basically the same. Now that is specific, it's measurable, and most importantly, it's verifiable.
And it's pretty much the same story over at Duolingo. They were incredibly transparent about it. They didn't just announce cuts and leave it at that. They told us exactly which roles were affected, in this case, contractors who create content, and they told us exactly why, because they had deployed an AI system to generate that content at scale. See that? It's a direct, unbroken line between the tech and the job.
And this isn't just a couple of isolated cases. We're seeing this pattern with other big players too, like Salesforce. They've also documented verifiable changes in some of their data and customer success roles because of AI. The common thread here, the thing that ties all these real examples together, is always evidence. The AI is up and running, it's actually producing results, and it's directly taking over the work of the people it replaced.
So if you kind of take a step back and look at the big picture, a really clear pattern starts to emerge, doesn't it? The jobs being automated right now all have a similar profile. They're high volume, they're standardized, and they're predictable. We're talking about things like customer service reps, basic content translation, and back-office data entry. And it makes perfect sense because these are exactly the kinds of tasks that today's AI is just fantastic at.
But here's the thing. That's only one part of the story. For the vast majority of us, people in knowledge work roles, what's actually happening is something completely different. For us, AI isn't showing up as a replacement. It's showing up as a powerful new tool right on our desktop.
And honestly, this might be the single most important distinction to really get your head around. For most people, AI is an amplifier. It's a capability multiplier. It's not here to make workers obsolete. It's here to make already capable workers even more productive. This is the quiet truth, the real story that gets completely buried under all the noisy headlines about layoffs.
Just think about it for a second. An engineer who uses an AI coding assistant, they can ship features way faster, but they still need to be the one to design the overall architecture and, make sure the code actually works. A designer can use AI to spit out dozens of first drafts, but it's the human who provides the creative vision and the strategy. So the companies that are truly winning with AI right now, they're not the ones firing people. They're the ones quietly giving their existing teams superpowers to do more, to do it better, and to do it faster.
So where does all of this leave us? Where are we headed? Well, once you understand the difference between AI washing and real displacement, it's like you've been given a map that helps you navigate the future of work as it's actually going to unfold, not just how the headlines say it will.
And this roadmap here kind of lays out that journey. Right now, we're in what you could call the current state,
We've got some very narrow, very real displacement happening, but it's surrounded by a ton of AI washing. Now, as we move into the near future, the AI is going to get a lot more capable, that's for sure. That will lead to more genuine displacement, but, and this is key, augmentation is still going to be the main story. And then way out in the long-term future, that's when we'll see a true workforce transformation, where having broad AI skills helps create entirely new kinds of jobs we can't even imagine yet.
So let's wrap up with this thought. The whole conversation around AI and jobs, it is incredibly loud and full of noise, but the signal, that verifiable evidence-based reality, it's there. It's absolutely there if you just know how to look for it. And now, you've got the toolkit. So the only real question left is, are you listening for it?